Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Step Builds. So I'm actually really excited for today's video. We're going to be cleaning up the garage. Not that that's super exciting, but I do have some good news on the GMC, so we'll kind of go over that here in a minute. But in order to do what we're going to be doing, I got to actually clean this place up. I'm going to be maybe putting some boards up top here, put some of this crap up top, cleaning up, making some space. I mean, if you guys have seen this place, you guys are probably throw up in your mouth a little bit. So we're going to clean up a little bit, move some stuff around. I'll show you what I actually did to the skyline. Nothing super exciting, but I got it all buffed up, so it looks really nice, buffed and waxed and everything else. So turned out really nice. So we'll go ahead and we'll roll that intro, and then we'll go ahead and talk about what we're going to do. Alright guys, welcome back. Here we are on day number 2, actually, believe it or not. So I got the truck pulled in the garage because we're going to go over that in here in just a minute. But didn't want to bore you guys with cleaning out my garage, but we got a pretty good amount of stuff done. So hung some racks over there. We got a bunch of the racks hung up here. So I got all my shovels and all my crap all kind of hung up over there. Cleaned up everything over here. That whole box is garbage. I just don't have a big dump around here to take it to, so I'm going to have to figure that one out. But I got a couple of shelves over here that I can actually work on. Got my air compressor in the corner. And then got a little area over here in the corner. Got my engine stand kind of set up over here. And then, you know, a little bit more stuff going on over here. So it turned out really nice. Did put some shelving up top. So I got a bunch of storage up there. And then along with over there. So actually turned out really good. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Everything looks really nice. Lots of room to work on everything in here, as we're going to go over here in just a minute. We'll take a quick look at the skyline, and we did a complete buff and wax of that guy, 2-step process. So she is looking really pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that. Did pull the spoiler off. Did the whole trunk lid with the spoiler off, so that's all cleaned up under there. Got both side skirts put on now. So she looks all symmetrical. Woo, look at that. Looking pretty good. All right, moving on with our lives. So, here, we'll flip the camera around. There we go. Now you guys can stare at my beautiful face. All right, so here we are in the garage. Got the truck in, pulled in, and we're going to go ahead and actually be doing a engine swap on this guy now. So I went back and forth. I've been talking to you guys a whole bunch about all these different ways that I wanted to do this, and I wanted to go crazy Euro conversion. I actually almost bought a Porsche Cayenne S. Let's turn this way. There we go. Now we don't got that light in the background. I almost bought a Cayenne S, actually. I was going to do B is for build style. I was going to do engine, drivetrain, subframes, wiring harness, interior pieces. I was going to try and convert the dash in. I was going to do a whole bunch with it. Time constraints, maybe tool constraints, some different things. As cool as it would have been, I didn't want it to turn into a never-ending project that just sat around. I am planning on daily driving this truck, so I kind of need it done, you know, before the next, 3 or 4 years from now. So went back and forth, thought about LS swaps. I looked at actually a GMC Denali in 01 with the 6-liter in there. I thought a lot about that, swapping axles, independent front suspension, a bunch of different things. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, this guy here has got a 318, an old LA 318 block in it. It's got a pretty heavy cam in it. It's carbureted, manual, or not manual, 727 transmission, so no overdrive. It's a fun truck, and it really is enjoyable to drive the way it is, but daily drivable, probably not so much. You know, at least not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for better gas mileage and a couple different things. So I got a buddy of mine who I actually am picking up a Mopar, another Mopar motor. It's 318 again. It's the Magnum motor though, so it's the one out of like the newer Durangos, not the Hemis, 5.2 liter. So basically the same motor as this, basically, but it's already fuel injected. I had a Durango with that motor in it. I really liked them. I really liked the engine. It was really good. You open up the exhaust, you open up the intake. I'm going to throw a Hughes performance cam in there. Probably just a stage 2. I don't want it to be too aggressive. I don't want it to be undrivable, and I don't want it to mess around with the ECU for now because If anybody knows anything about Mopars, their ECUs are not easy to work on. They really like to lock theirs down. They're very difficult. So trying to keep that as stock as possible. We're going to go with either an Alpha 518 transmission or a 46RH for the hydraulically shifted. And then PATC, I don't know how you pronounce the company. PATC makes a kit for all the overdrive and the lockup on the torque converter to work separately. So that'll be good. And then we're going to probably find a passenger side drop NP241 transfer case so I can leave the axles underneath it. I want to replace these axles because especially this one out of this truck, this Ram Charger style, had the hub and the bearing and the disc basically all in one piece. So if you start running too big of tires, you start running too much power, you put too many miles on them, they're not very good bearings. The bearings do go out on these quite often, so I'll be doing these quite often unless I decide to swap axles. But for now, for simplicity's sake, I want to get on the road, and doing a whole axle swap and everything right now is just a little bit too much, more than I want to do at this moment in time. We will do it at some point. That being said, leaf springs front and rear in this guy, and we might be swapping that out for a coil setup. I'm not sure. I don't want to go total triangulated 4-link because it does need to be driver friendly, and that will just cause a lot of death wobble down the highway and whatever. So we might go with just a pan, what do they call it, the 4-link that just goes back like this, and then you got your pan hard bar. Might go with that style in the back, and maybe a 3-link with the pan hard bar up front, maybe some coilovers. We're just kind of playing with it, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and set you guys up on a time lapse. We'll start gutting the drivetrain out of this thing. We're going to pull the whole front off. We're going to paint the underside of the fenders. I'm probably going to get some new headlights on this guy. We're going to do quite a bit of work. This is going to be a really fun one. So stick around, you guys. If you guys haven't, or if you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thumbs up, like, comment. You know the deal. Let's get to work. Alright guys, so here's what we accomplished yesterday. As you saw in the time lapse, we got the whole front of the engine pulled off. Whole front of the engine, wow, whole front of the truck pulled off, bumper pulled off, and you know, I pretty much bagged all of the bolts in one bag, and that would be crazy other than the fact that this whole truck is pretty much held together with the exact same bolt, minus a couple of them are different sizes as far as lengths go. So got radiator out, so I got the transmission lines disconnected there. And I think I made a little note there in the time lapse, but you'll see me underneath the vehicle quite a bit during the time lapse. That was me actually disconnecting the transmission lines from the transmission itself underneath there. So those were a little difficult. The cross member, I don't know if you can even see it or not, kind of back up in there. The cross member actually sits basically right above the transmission, right below it, so it was a little difficult to get to those, but it took me a minute, got them out. I got just a couple of bolts plugging the holes for them now. Those are the little guys there that were in the side of the transmission itself, and then the hoses connected to that, obviously. So what we got left, I got kick down cable disconnected. I got to disconnect the choke cable still. I have still got to disconnect the fuel line, but the fuel line is just right there. It's just plumbed into a hard line. We are going to go ahead and gut all those hard lines, and we're going to run AN lines. I want to try and see, I might run this style, I might run the black ones, I'm not really sure yet, but since I've already got these in there, I might just run these. They're kind of cool looking anyways. But so disconnect fuel line. I got power steering lines already disconnected. I got my the regulator here. I got that disconnected already. I just got to disconnect the mount. I'll take that mount off as soon as I get the whole motor out of here, though. I got the hoses for the heater core and all that disconnected. They're laying up on top of this guy here. So I think all I got to do is starter wires down there, header bolts, and I'm going to probably just try and leave the headers laying in here while I'm taking the engine out. That'll be a lot easier to just remove those headers down low once I get those the engine out of here. I can basically just stand in this engine bay, and we are going to go ahead and roll this guy out of the garage as soon as we get everything done, and give it a good wash. Use some engine degreaser, get it all washed up. I am going to replace this battery tray because I'm planning on running an Optima, so we're going to go ahead and put a nice Optima mount back in there, or remotely. I'm not sure, but I really think I'm going to probably just mount it right in the existing spot there. We will be reusing this. Might get one with a little bit smaller booster. I'm not really sure yet. That one looks like probably a 12-inch or something. I could probably get a 10-inch and kind of suck that up a little bit, because obviously that does sit very, very close to the valve cover, as you can see. In fact, I can't even get that kick down cable out from in between there. It's kind of smashed. And then that guy is my speedo sensor. It's a mechanical speedo sensor, so we will be deleting that too, because we're going to go with some Intellitronics gauges, and that all runs on an electronic assembly. So a couple things left to do here. I'm going to go ahead and get those couple things disconnected, get everything prepped up, and then as soon as we're ready to go ahead and pull this out, we'll go ahead and do a quick update and go ahead and set up that time lapse as we pull that motor out of there. I do got a couple of spots. I got those 2 points there that I can mount from. That used to be the air conditioner, so I can probably just throw a bolt around that guy down there. That looks pretty stout. Maybe this one here. And then back on the throttle linkage area back here, I do have 2 other points that I can hook a chain to. Right there. This guy right here, I think I can hook to. So that's bolted in 2 spots on the actual intake manifold itself. So should be good to go. Hope it doesn't tear itself off. That'd be a dang shame. But yeah. All right, let's get to work. What is going on? All right, so here we are. I think it's almost 10 o'clock at night. It's actually getting dark outside, so I've put in a solid, oh gosh, at least 12 hours today. So a lot of work, especially by yourself. You know, I probably should have called in a friend or something like that, but I didn't. So anyways, got it done. Slow going on the transmission transfer case. I used a couple of straps and a couple of jacks. I had to kind of lower it down little by little, back and forth as a heavy, you know what. So I had my wife come out for a minute and help me move a couple of things around, and got it out here now though. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what we got. All right, so transmission transfer case out. Have a look down. We are clear for takeoff. So all sorts of room for activities in here. Gonna do a mag motor, 318 Hughes cam. Should sound really good. Fuel injection, I'm really excited to get that thing to just be able to start up middle of winter and have it run real nice and have it run down the highway. This thing supposedly had a Summit Racing 2800 to 3000 stall converter in it. It's way too high for a stall that I wanted in the thing. I don't want to pull it off because I don't want to lose the transmission fluid all over the ground. So I'm going to leave it in there, but yeah. So anyways, we'll go with the lower stall, 2000, 2200 I think I found. I don't think I want to go any lower than that, but maybe we'll go with it. I think factory's 1900, so maybe we'll stick right around there. I just want it to lock up a little bit better. So wheels and tires, I do think I'm going to go ahead and buy some new wheels and tires. I do like these, and I just painted them. I think they look really good, but we can always do better, honestly. And then the tires are nice, but they are pretty knobby, and they do make quite a bit of noise heading down the highway. So we're going to probably swap those out for some nicer ones. I haven't found exactly the ones I want yet, but we will find out. And then as far as suspension goes, we talked about maybe doing a link suspension in here. Maybe. That's a lot of money. Probably a couple $1,000 for a link suspension front and back. So if nothing else, we might buy the Skyjacker soft ride coil springs. They're supposed to ride really nice. We'll get some new shocks. That'll probably honestly be $1,000 too, but there's no fabrication of all of that. It's just bolt and go. So if we do that, we'll buy some cool shocks. Maybe we'll get some reservoir shocks, something like that for it. So anyways, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. We'll go over exactly how the plans as it kind of comes along, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up or an update as far as everything that's going on here. So this guy's coming to pick all this stuff up tomorrow. So cash in hand, start buying parts, buy some interior parts for everything, honestly, a whole bunch of parts. All right, well, my gimbal's dead, so you guys are getting the selfie action here, but we'll go ahead and end the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys stick around and follow me as we go ahead and get this thing all put together. And I think it's going to be super cool. I'm super excited. Kind of see how far it comes. Again, we did want to go exotic with it, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to go ahead and go with what we got. But I think it'll be nice. So thanks for sticking around again. Remember, hands aren't dirty. You're not bleeding. Pretty much looks like I got in a fight with a cat. But good times. Got some good stuff done. So remember, keep working in your garage, keep doing these projects, follow along with me as we're doing this stuff. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe, do your thing. I'm exhausted, so I'm probably not making any sense right now. So appreciate you guys sticking around. We'll see you in the next one.